Joining us is Georgia Vote panelist and Democratic strategist Val Sabak. Val, thank you so much for coming in because big news this week. Geoff Duncan says that he is running for governor not as a Republican, but as a Democrat, making the field even more crowded. Initial thoughts of Geoff Duncan running as a Democrat?
You know, it's going to be it was already an interesting race. There hasn't really been a clear person to break through the primary so far. It'll be interesting to see how former Lieutenant Governor Duncan tries to navigate that as he enters the field, and I'm sure he's not going to be the only one that's going to enter soon.
And him running as a Democrat doesn't come as a surprise to many people. As we know, he campaigned for Democrats in the last presidential cycle. But upon his announcement, one of the first kind of rebuttals that I saw was a statement from Senator Estevez's campaign, no longer former Senator Estevez's campaign, with a picture of him standing above Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signing the heartbeat bill and him smiling with the words saying Georgia will never forget or something like that along those lines. This is what he is going to be going against in the primary.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to be something where he's going to have to convince voters, and I've heard it in some of the interviews that he's given already, where he's talked about, you know, my stance has changed. I believe in women's right to choose. Now he has to go out and convince the people and make sure that the people need to believe that he is genuine in that change.
Yeah.
So that's going to be his challenge.
It is going to be a challenge, I think, and a lot of people also think. In an interview with Politically Georgia, the first one he gave since this campaign announcement, he believes, and he told the podcast there, that he believes that he can be a candidate for those Republicans who do not like what's going on in the Republican Party as well as Democrats. Can he cross over there? At least for the primary, right? Let's get through that first.
So that's the difficulty. The primary, the primary election. I mean, in the general, we saw in 2022 when it was Governor Kemp, you had about 200,000 voters who were for Senator Raphael Warnock and for Governor Kemp. So there is a little bit of a field. It's just, can he make it out of the primary? Can he pull in those disaffected? I think he kept calling them disgusted Republicans into the Democratic primary to vote for him. I think that that's going to be one of the things that is going to be interesting to watch.
Time will tell. I mean, he already has name recognition, right? And especially among the Democratic field, I would say him and Keisha Lance Bottoms have the most national name recognition, but this is not a national election, of course. This is here in Georgia. How do you think that his name recognition plays into that? And of course, his ability to fundraise.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll hit the fundraising part first. I think the fundraising, it'll be interesting to see how much money he gets from national folks, because I mean, you have a lot of these groups that pop up where former Republicans, they're tired of the Trump administration, so they might find a home for him, for their money with the Duncan campaign. It'll be interesting to watch him and former Mayor Bottoms kind of battle out, because they were both Biden surrogates. You know, they both campaigned for former Vice President Harris, and I think you know, it'll be interesting to see how that happens. It's just going to be very interesting.
And then timing.
Yeah.
Why wait this long to put the hat in the ring for Geoff Duncan? Why do you think?
I mean, it might be having conversations with folks. It might be that maybe he didn't see it before, and then now it's like, wait a minute. It kind of seeing how the field, the current primary field has evolved or hasn't evolved. Again, like you have about 5 candidates running for governor. There's no clear, there's no clear front runner. And so I think kind of waiting now and saying like, okay, like now I can kind of jump in, I can kind of see where to go. I think that that's part of the timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking ahead here, and of course the focus is on the primary for all of these campaigns, but once you get out of that primary, the doors are wide open. Yes. You got to get the attention of everybody in Georgia, and then you're going to be going against juggernaut in the race. We don't know who it's going to be yet, but that Republican race is going to be strong, right? If it is Geoff Duncan against one of those Republican candidates, what challenges does he have against him as a former Republican himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they can attack him on, he flipped parties. Is he trustworthy? He was with us. Is he going to be with us, as governor? They can kind of go that route. I think the thing that the Duncan campaign has in their to their benefit is that he's positioning himself to be the anti-Trump candidate. And so, I've heard over and over again, whoever's going to be the Republican nominee is just basically going to have Trump be governor. And so he's kind of trying to position himself to say, well, no, I'm the one who's going to be anti-Trump. I've stood up to him before, I can stand up to him again.
And then the other question that comes to mind, Val, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, how does he get away from this label as traitor that has kind of been put on him, or that kind of label from the Democrats saying, you're just using this as an opportunity to get more name recognition, make money, maybe sell a book down the line?
Right. I think that will be how he has to play his campaign, talking to the voters, talking to Democrats, disaffected Republicans, independents, kind of having those conversations and being open and honest about, well, this is the process I went through to change my positions. This is where, because, nobody doesn't change their mind, right? But I think sharing and being open about what were the moments that kind of led, and I think he has an interesting story to tell. He had a front seat to the 2018 election, 2020 election, and I think if he can detail that to people and kind of tell the story of like, this is where I was, this is where I started asking questions, this is where I landed, it might cause some people to stop and say, well, let me consider this.
At least for the primary.
At least for the primary, yeah.
And then last question for you. How do you think he fares? Is this going to be a disruptor, if you will, in the primaries? Do you think right now, as it stands, it's him and potentially Keisha Lance Bottoms as the two front runners, or could it be anybody's games? Of course, Representative Derek Jackson, you have former State Senator Jason Estevez, who released his seat, Pastor Olu Brown among those who are going to be running right now.
I mean, honestly, I think the way that we've seen the primary shape up so far, I don't know that there is a single person who can be a disruptor. I think it'll be just another candidate. I think it'll still be, they're going to be vying to prove to people that they're electable in the primary, and more importantly, electable in the general. And so I'm not too sure that it'll be like it's going to be a slam dunk for anybody at this point, because money is limited. It's a limited resource. And I think it's whoever goes out and talks to the most people and can convince them that, hey, I'm the person to do the job.
Yeah. Well, we will certainly see. Val Sabak, thank you so much from McGuire Woods Consulting. Got to shout you guys out. Appreciate you coming down. We will check in with you a little later on.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Eric. I feel like I missed out on one of the candidates. I said Keisha Lance Bottoms, Olu Brown, Derek Jackson.
Michael Thurmond.
Thurmond! Shoot, but I forgot about that.
They're all like...
Yeah. Can we do that one more time?
Yeah, of course. And just so you know, I don't know if this is like public or not, but she told me this week. Ruben Roman is going to jump in 2 weeks. She told me that on Sunday. So...
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we just do that really quick? Thank you, Michael Thurmond. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Eric. Okay, we'll just do one pickup really quick so you can get to Mr. Lawson.
Yeah.
And blame me if you are a little bit late because of the traffic.
I know, I'm fine.
Come down to the studio, Stephen. I'll tee it up in 3, 2, 1. Looking at the field right now, I mean, you obviously have Keisha Lance Bottoms, you have former DeKalb CEO Michael Thurmond, former State Senator Jason Estevez, Derek Jackson, State Representative, and then Pastor Olu Brown. So you have a thick pool of candidates. Yes. The race is still early, right? More people could get in. But is he a disruptor? Could he be a disruptor in this pool of candidates?
I mean, to be honest with you, at this point, seeing how the field has already shaped up, I'm not so sure that anybody could be a disruptor at this point. I think he's going to come in, he's going to join the race, and it's going to be who is going to be the strongest, who's going to be able to raise the money to go talk to the voters. So I think I don't know about disruptor. I don't think that he's somebody that you could just kind of say, oh well, nobody cares about this candidate. I think all of them. I mean, you have a strong field of candidates, and I think that we have to. It's primary is a sign of a healthy party, so it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up.
One thing for certain, it's not going to be boring.
Yes, that's exactly
We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Week.
Val Sabak from McGuire Woods Consulting.
Thank you.
Panelist on the Georgia Vote and Democratic strategist. Thank you so much, Val.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you all Sunday on the Georgia Vote.